Hi, this is Sharon Rennhack. This is my video for the Aphasiatoolbox Newsletter, the November-December 2015 Combined Holiday Edition, covering celebrating successes and recovery. My specific topic today covers the importance of reconnection, cognition, and attention in aphasia recovery. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a stroke survivor. I'm a person with aphasia. I'm a person recovered from aphasia. My stroke was in October 2010. I am now a certified practice coach working with Bill Connors at Aphasiatoolbox. I am a cafe facilitator, and I am also the newsletter editor. Cognition plays a key role in progress, or the lack of progress, in aphasia recovery. For this particular video, I'm focusing on what I did in the early time after my stroke, but I'm also focusing primarily on my specific problem areas: memory, attention, and sequencing. I do want to briefly touch on the other cognitive areas as well, including executive function, which is a set of mental skills that helps you to get things done, for example, managing time or planning and organizing. Cognitive flexibility refers to the ability to adapt thinking to new and unexpected happenings. Problem solving is the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues. And visual spatial skills basically allows us to gather visual information and to integrate that information with our other senses as well. What I'd like to talk about now primarily is cognition. Cognition basically is the big picture. It is a mental process or processes involved in thought, with all those related words that we just discussed as subsets of cognition. Memory is one of those subsets, and that refers to the ability to recall what you have learned and retained. One of the biggest problems that I had right after my stroke was specifically my working memory. That refers to the brain's capacity to hold information active until we needed to use it for some purpose. Attention was also a big problem for me. I was not able to focus. I was not able to sustain my attention. I was very easily distracted, and I was not able to switch from one task to another. What I described just now is not what I was like before my stroke. I did research, and I was able to write up to 8 topics at a time or more on a daily basis. I was a top multitasker and worked very fast in a very fast environment. So this is my timeline for my reconnection. Phase 1 basically took about a year. We worked primarily on my memory, my cognition, sentence structure, and also word recall. Phase 2 basically covered for maybe about 6 months, and we worked primarily on semantic exercise that helped my writing and my ability to write. This first section now is on reconnecting cognition, and the emphasis in phase 1 was specifically on reconnecting my thought process, my semantic cognition, and my memory. I'm going to show you 2 exercises that we worked on at that time. One is semantic scaling, and the other one is verbal working memory. Semantic scaling is an exercise that helped my semantics and memory. It incorporates sequencing, the process of understanding what comes first, and what comes last. So what we do is basically present to the client 2 words that are examples of a semantic category. So we want these words to differ specifically or significantly in terms of certain characteristics. So we're working on the semantic exercise with 2 words that we show on the screen. One is the word hot, one is the word cold. Now we want to think about what comes in the middle. So right after hot, we might say warm. Right after that, we might say lukewarm or tepid. We might want to say cool. There may be a couple of other words in between as well. The next exercise is verbal working memory and attention training. This is a module on the Aphasia site reader that helped my memories for sentences. So I'm going to say one sentence, and I'd like you to remember that sentence during the duration of what we're working on. The sentence is, children are happy. Now I'd like you to put that sentence in alphabetical order. So how do we do that? You need to have that sentence in your head, children are happy, as you do something with that sentence. Okay? So if you want to put it in alphabetical order, we want, are children happy? What was the original sentence? Children are happy. Now we want to put that same sentence in reverse alphabetical order. How do we do that? Happy children are. Now let's put it completely backwards. Happy are children. This next section is on reconnecting my narrative. To help that, we did a lot of work specifically on pronouns, and we also worked on speaker's intent. These are all exercises specifically on the Aphasia sight reader. What I'm going to show you now is specifically the subjective pronouns. Why are those important? Basically, subjective pronouns start our sentences. Some people with aphasia tend to become noun bound. They may think of a particular word that's a noun, but we want to make sure they understand how to start the sentence by using those subjective pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. And why does that help? Well, we want the person with aphasia to be able to create a full sentence. So we may start with the pronoun I, then we may add a verb. For example, to eat food. I eat. So we have that short canonical sentence. Then, after we do some work on conjugation of that sentence, I eat food, you eat food, he eats food, and that, we may add another word which is the object of the sentence, food. I eat food. You could also do I drink coffee. This next section is on reconnecting my semantics. I mentioned to you that I had a real problem with anomia. I was not able to think of the words that I wanted to say. So we did a lot of work specifically to help reconnect my word recall. The exercise I'm going to be showing you now are two exercises we did early on to help my word recall. One was lighting up the lemma, and also multiple meaning words. So what does lighting up the lemma mean? The word lemma refers to the word that you have in your head before you get ready to open your mouth to speak. So basically we're trying to share a mental word. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see this. So this is a specific exercise on the Aphasia sight reader in the Semantic Cognition module. And basically what we're doing is lighting up our lemma. So I'm going to describe a particular fruit to you. This first fruit is red. One type of fruit is called Bing. This particular fruit comes usually in bunches. Can you think of what that word is? If you can, raise your hand. I'm going to give you another clue. This particular word starts with a ch sound. Ch. Do you know what that word is? Raise your hand. The word is cherry. I'm going to give you another exercise. This next one refers to a fruit that you can peel. The fruit is yellow. The skin is yellow. You usually eat the inside of the fruit. This is a fruit that monkeys really like. Do you know what that word is? Raise your hand. I'm going to give you another clue just in case. So this particular fruit is something that Elvis really liked. He would put this particular fruit on a sandwich along with peanut butter. Do you know what that word is? So the word is banana. This next exercise is a little bit more of an advanced semantic cognition exercise, multiple meaning words. So now we want to think of all the possible words we might use for that word beat. So you could say, I'm really beat, I'm tired. I like the music, it has a nice beat. I hit him, I beat him. Could be something like that. So what would you say for the word light? So think of all those possibilities. The next thing I'd like to show you is how I reconnected my syntax. I basically, as I mentioned to you before, right after my stroke, I spoke in very short sentences or phrases, and my sentences were really not well constructed either. So what we worked on was that we did a lot of work on verbing. And that verbing is something that really helps people with aphasia because they tend to lose that verb slot in a canonical sentence. So, what do you do with coffee? Now, coffee is a noun. Some of our clients might say another item. They might say tea. Well, that's not what we want. We want something that you do with coffee. So you could say, I drink coffee. What do you do with a television? I watch television. I turn on the television. So some of the things that I've learned about aphasia, having been a person with aphasia, I understand the importance of reconnection. Also learned about the importance of cognition and attention, and also mindfulness in recovery. I see this in the clients I work with now. They need to understand how cognition helps them, how attention helps them in terms of their recovery, and how to be more mindful about what they want to accomplish. In terms of my groups, I also understand the importance of pragmatics in conversation, and that means being able to look at the person directly, being able to actively listen to what a person says to you. And I think probably more important is the importance of hope in recovery as well. So my advice to people with aphasia, people recovering from aphasia, is become the pilot of your own recovery. Think about the goals that you want to set. You may also want to make those goals into small, manageable steps, so it doesn't become so overwhelming. You might also want to find something that you want to do better than before your stroke. And I'm also going to suggest that you work only from your own memory. No imitation, no copying. Focus on propositional speech and conversation. That's how you get better. Engage in lots of smart, effective, and independent and aggressive practice. You may want to join a support group, an aphasia support group for support and engagement, but also a conversational treatment group for aggressive progress. Next thing I'm going to say is recovery takes patience, lots of patience. Work every day and never give up.